Breaking news! There's a buzz coming out of Baltimore that's starting to rattle cages across the entire AFC. Analysts are raving, players are energized, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss what might be the most electric transformation on defense the Ravens have seen in years. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," to show the world where your loyalty stands. Let's get straight to it. ESPN's Mina Kimes has thrown a major spotlight on the Baltimore Ravens defense heading into 2025, boldly stating that this unit is not just good, it's elite, ranked as the number 3 defense in the entire league on her list. Kimes sees something that Ravens fans and insiders have been quietly watching unfold since the tail end of last season. A defense that started the year on shaky ground transformed into a wall of steel by the time the regular season came to a close. We're talking first in EPA per play, first in success rate, first in opponents' points per game over the final stretch. The numbers don't lie. This defense didn't just improve, it flipped its entire identity. What sparked this seismic shift? Let's talk about the 2 turning points that redefined the Ravens' 2024 season and set the tone for what could be an historic 2025 campaign. First, we need to talk about defensive coordinator Zach Orr. At the beginning of last season, Orr was facing some serious challenges. He was new to the coordinator role, having only recently transitioned from inside linebackers coach to leading the entire defense, a position with massive responsibility, especially for a franchise that built its legacy on defensive dominance. He didn't have a ton of coaching experience, just 6 years under his belt, and half of that wasn't even in hands-on roles. And yet, by the end of the season, something clicked. Orr's emotional investment in this defense was on full display, perhaps best captured during the Christmas Day showdown against Houston when he literally leaped onto and flipped over Darius Washington in celebration. This wasn't just a man calling plays, this was a leader who had earned the trust of his squad. What made the difference? The addition of Chuck Pagano to the staff can't be overstated. Pagano, a familiar face in Baltimore and a veteran with both head coach and coordinator experience, brought wisdom and insight, especially to the secondary, Orr's biggest early season struggle. With Pagano guiding him, Orr matured in real time, transforming the defense's trajectory. The second piece of this puzzle is Darius Washington himself. The moment he became a full-time contributor, everything changed. In the first 10 weeks, he averaged just 27 snaps per game. From week 11 onward, that number jumped to 58. Washington didn't just fill a role, he unlocked the defense's potential, particularly for Kyle Hamilton. With Washington taking command in the secondary, Hamilton was finally free to be the versatile weapon he was always meant to be. Whether it was at safety, in the box, or floating around the formation like a chess piece, Hamilton's game elevated the entire defense. And although Washington will be missed this season due to his Achilles injury, his impact remains a defining part of the Ravens' evolution. And then there's that secondary. Mina Kimes couldn't stop gushing over what Baltimore is building in the back end. This group has gone from being a liability at the start of 2024 to arguably the best in the league. Alexander, Wiggins, Humphrey, Hamilton, and Starks, there's not a weak link among them. Kimes highlighted their versatility, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Hamilton is already in the conversation for best defensive back in football, and now you add Malaki Starks, a guy who played everywhere at Georgia, nickel, free safety, strong safety, you name it, he did it. Last year's season opener against Kansas City painted a different picture. Jalen Armour-Davis starting on the outside, Brandon Stevens, Marcus Williams, and Hamilton filling in behind him. Fast forward to this year, Nate Wiggins is entering his second year, Joey Alexander steps in, and the whole unit has leveled up. That's not just improvement, that's a transformation. Now you've got a top-to-bottom group with versatility, speed, ball skills, and experience. No more plug and play, no more trying to hold things together with duct tape. This is a unit built to dominate. And if you're still not convinced, let's talk bold predictions. Kyle Hamilton for Defensive Player of the Year. Malaki Starks, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Mike Green, he could very well lead the team in sacks. Even Joey Alexander is predicted to bring in 6 turnovers if he stays healthy, and that's no small claim. Sure, these are bold calls, but given what we saw down the stretch last year, they're not as crazy as they sound. Because what's coming next might just blow the roof off your expectations. Let's dig deeper into why this 2025 Ravens defense isn't just good on paper, it's potentially generational. To understand that, we have to focus not only on talent and coaching, but on chemistry, role clarity, and something often overlooked in this league, fit. What we're witnessing is a rare alignment between personnel and scheme, where players aren't just filling roles, they're thriving in them. Take Kyle Hamilton again. Everything about his game screams positionless football. He's a safety in name only. His skill set allows Baltimore to deploy him wherever offenses least want him. Last season, we saw him blitz off the edge, drop into deep coverage, man up in the slot, and crash down in run support. Now imagine a full season of that unleashed version of Hamilton, with an improved supporting cast around him that gives Zach or even more freedom to move him like a queen on a chessboard. And what about Malaki Starks? The rookie from Georgia is being talked about as a Swiss Army knife in his own right. His college film showed a player comfortable in man coverage, zone, deep third, even covering tight ends one-on-one. Pairing that with Hamilton gives the Ravens two of the most versatile DBs in the NFL. And when one of your safeties can essentially shadow a slot receiver or TE, while the other tracks down running backs or disrupts passing lanes over the middle, you've got a tactical advantage that offensive coordinators will lose sleep over. Then there's Nate Wiggins. Entering year 2, this young corner has all the tools, speed, length, instincts, and now, with a year of NFL experience under his belt, he's primed to take a massive leap. Add in veteran Joey Alexander, who's projected to get back in the turnover column if he stays healthy, and you've got a secondary with depth, physicality, and playmaking ability. Let's not forget Marlon Humphrey, who continues to be a cornerstone of this group. Whether in the slot or outside, he brings the physical edge and leadership that defines Baltimore defense. This unit isn't just deep, it's balanced. You've got youth, experience, versatility, and most importantly, an aggressive mentality that fits perfectly with Orr's emerging identity as a coordinator. And speaking of Orr, his growth is another storyline that simply cannot be ignored. Last season, many questioned whether he was ready. That conversation is over. With Chuck Pagano mentoring him in a full offseason to reflect and retool, Zach Orr is no longer just a promising young coach. He's looking more and more like a rising star in the coaching ranks. His willingness to adjust, to put his players in position to succeed, to learn from early mistakes, it's all part of what makes this defensive turnaround so compelling. This wasn't just a statistical fluke or a soft schedule. This was a coordinated evolution built on film study, personnel adjustments, and real coaching chops. That kind of growth is hard to find, and even harder to replicate. But in Baltimore, it's becoming the new standard. We also need to recognize the quiet but critical impact of the defensive line. Mike Green is drawing bold predictions as the potential sack leader for this team. That's not just based on hype. He's coming off a career-high 10-sack season, and everything points to that number going up. His motor, his technique, and the matchups he'll get thanks to the attention Hamilton and Starks demand. It's a perfect storm for a breakout year. The Ravens are also banking on role players stepping into bigger shoes. With A.R. Darius Washington out due to injury, the depth will be tested. But that's where Baltimore's roster construction shows its strength. They've built a unit where the next man up isn't just a placeholder. He's capable. They're not relying on one superstar to mask holes. They've assembled a group where the sum is greater than the parts, and every part is dangerous in its own right. So what does it all mean for the 2025 season? It means Baltimore isn't just hoping to have a top defense. They're expecting it. They're building for dominance, not just survival. This isn't about stats. It's about identity. And that identity is once again rooted in a defensive unit that flies to the football, confuses quarterbacks, and closes out games. And yet, the question still lingers, can this defense be the one that leads Baltimore back to the Super Bowl? Can it be the unit that carries Lamar Jackson and this offense through those cold January games, when style points don't matter and toughness, discipline, and execution decide who survives? We've seen flashes. We've seen the transformation. Now the Ravens must sustain it. They must start hot, stay healthy, and finish strong. Because in a loaded AFC, there's no room for slow starts or second-half heroics. This team has to be elite from week 1. So Ravens flock, you've heard the numbers, the praise, the projections, but now it's your turn to speak. Is this the year Baltimore's defense becomes the best in the league again? Do you believe Kyle Hamilton,